Okay, I'm going to do a quick video here. A couple weeks ago, I planted some seeds. I took this net cup and I filled it with these clay pebbles and coconut core on top. Alright, this basket fits down into a wide mouth pint jar or quart jar. Okay, now after they sprouted, I put them in the windowsill. And now it's got its second set of what they call true leaves on there. Okay? But they've just been in plain water up until now that I let set out for at least 24 hours to get the chlorine out. Now I'm lifting it out. Do you see the roots there? It's going down into the water. So now that it's got its second set of leaves, it's going to go into the nutrient water, which I'll show you I have outside in the buckets. But first, here's the nutrients. The first one is a tomato fertilizer 4-18-38. The second one is Epsom salt. And the third one is called calcium nitrate. Each of these gets mixed with a gallon of water separately. Okay? Because you can't mix them all together or it neutralizes them. So I make up enough chemical for 5 gallons. Okay, then they get dumped in the 5-gallon bucket with 2 extra gallons of water. Alright, now this water has sat for 24 hours before I make the solution. Then I bought buckets with lids. These used to have mayonnaise in them, and someone had them for $1 a piece on Facebook Marketplace, so I went and bought a bunch of them. Now, these plants that I'm about to show you, I bought at Home Depot in the little cups. I started to transplant them, as you can see right here with this yellow pepper. I did all these either last Wednesday or Thursday. So, I used the clay pebbles, and I transplanted it in the little buckets. Okay, see all the little roots growing out of it? Now, these roots, I wound all the way down into the bottom. And I wasn't sure if that was going to shock them. And you can see my water level in there. The little white floaties are plastic. This was the first one I did. So the next ones I rinsed the buckets. But see, the roots are growing down into the nutrient water. Now, in 8 days, they've been sitting out here. Alright, now this is my broccoli. I bought it at Home Depot. And it's a little pot that it came in. So it was really small, okay? So I had it in just plain water. And it was getting this green stuff on it. So I probably should have taken it out of the pot and retransplanted it, because I didn't put it in the nutrient water in the bucket. It was just in a glass jar. I'll be started out in the glass jars with just plain water. So that's a problem. I gotta figure out how to get rid of that algae. But see all the roots growing through the bottom of the container? Okay, so that's my little broccoli plant. Now here's a red pepper plant. I just stuck the whole thing right in the water. This one wasn't in a jar. This one was just sitting on the windowsill with regular water. Now it's starting to get its little baby roots. And I'm getting no algae in this container. So I have to take the other one out and clean it up, apparently. Now this one is, I think, just a regular green pepper. Yep. And I left it in the garden pot. I think I paid $1.50 for this at Home Depot. And it's already got roots and it's going down into the nutrient water. These tomatoes were small when I bought them. Now, I need to figure out how to stake them up. But this first one already has a little, I don't know if I can see it in the video here, baby tomato growing on it. Okay. And a bunch more flowers. And it got transferred into the clay pebbles as well. Look at all the roots on this. It's doing phenomenal. And it still has a bunch of water in there. So my biggest thing is I can't get up and down from the ground very easily. Weeding is not my thing. And trying to water all these plants all the time, especially when it's going to get hot, has been difficult. Now these 2 plants have gotten really super tall since I've started this. Like, they're doing really, really well. lots of flowers, so I'm going to have to figure out how to stake that up. That's also a tomato. This next tomato has a little baby growing on it already too, and I'll have to stake that up. Now these I left right in the little pots. And that one's got a ton of weeds, but it's getting some algae too. So I have to research what to do about that, because I don't know. I think it's because the pots are white and I have to darken them, or so algae doesn't grow in these. These had mayonnaise in them. Here's another tomato plant. It's getting tall. I need to stake that up. It's got a ton of roots, no algae. See all these roots, how tall they are? They're going straight down into the nutrient water. This is a jalapeno pepper. It was a little small one as well. It's got blooms on it. And just stuff that in there. It's got roots just barely coming out of the bottom now. So that's still sitting in the water. So, one weekend, I've got some algae that I gotta figure out. I may have to spray paint these buckets black, or cover them somehow so the light doesn't get into the buckets, because that's growing algae on me and it shouldn't be. So this is where I'm at. This is a learning experience. It's a first time for me, so we'll see. In the pool, just got its yellow algae. I'm not happy. So I get to brush all of that off and put the stuff in it. It's never ending around here, I'm telling you. So the plants are growing me some food. My seeds that I started have got 2 sets of leaves on them. By the time they grow, it might be too hot in here, I'm not sure. But I'm going to keep doing it anyhow. I've got more holes, buckets to wash and holes to cut to get ready for those 16 tomato plants. But I still have a little bit of a time, so anyhow, that's my little project.